What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, we do upload Pokemon Go content related to PvP, so please consider subscribing to the channel if that is of interest to you. And if you're a returning subscriber like Amy Hindlekar, thank you for the support. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at a team featuring Giratina altered in the lead. I know a lot of you wanted to see the previous lineup with Giratina in the lead, and this is a pretty popular team and a team that I used a lot of last season. Giratina altered definitely feel is a very underappreciated Pokemon in the Open Master League, and we're going to take a look at some battles here today. Now, it is important to note I have been using different teams almost daily in Open Master League. Part of the reason is because I'm facing a lot of the same opponents day in and day out. I want to keep them guessing, so I'm mixing it up a lot. And over the next couple of days, we are going to be taking a look at a couple of different team comps that I have been using in Master League. Some better than others. So some videos you might see a couple of really bad losses. Some videos might see a lot of really good wins. And there are some really good videos coming up in the next coming days, so make sure you're subscribed. Please like the video if you enjoy this content. So without any further ado, let's get into the first battle right now. Okay, so headed into the first match against Sinerg, I believe is the name. Not sure about the pronunciation, but a very talented trainer, and she is leading Melmetal here. I have battled her on a couple of occasions over the past couple of days, and she runs a pretty hard Dialga counter team. I believe it's triple hard counter to Dialga. So leading Giratina into Melmetal, obviously this is probably one of the more favorable leads you want to see with Giratina. Even though you do lose the 2 shields, it's pretty good getting that Melmetal out of the way in most situations. But as you're going to see with this particular team, there is a lot for Dialga in the back still. So that's where having Kyogre kind of comes in handy, because Kyogre does really well against some Pokemon like Togekiss, Mewtwo, Groudon. It can really put in work, especially if it has shields. So I tend to almost never use any shields in this Giratina versus Melmetal matchup, even if I'm going to lose, because it gives me an opportunity to farm down a little bit on the Melmetal, assuming they stay in, which most of the time they will, because they don't want to give up switch advantage, right? So Rock Slide comes here. Actually looks like I lost more than I should have in terms of like the health disadvantage. I think I over tapped by accident, over farmed over 100 energy at some point in that, because there was I don't know what I was doing, but either way, that wasn't optimal. So I bring in Kyogre here to farm down the Melmetal. She brings in a Togekiss and burns a shield. Now at this point, I start thinking, okay, this Kyogre clearly is putting in a lot of work here on the Togekiss, and if she shields this second time, it's really gonna get me wondering. She lets it go through, so I decide to switch on to Dialga, and she brings in Groudon. So this isn't an optimal situation, but with a shield advantage against Groudon, I actually do have an opportunity, and I still have that Kyogre in the back to potentially farm down the Togekiss. So what I did here was I called the Fire Punch bait, which was huge, and now I'm going to shield, because if I start shielding now, I should be able to win with 2 shields, so I'm going to get to 2 Iron Heads for sure. But calling that first Fire Punch definitely helped me to get an advantage in this game, because Earthquake obviously would have pretty much KO'd, but having the Fire Punch allowed me to ensure that I beat this Groudon. And that was a pretty bold call, it worked out for us. And now Togekiss is going to come in. I'm going to farm here with the Dialga go down, bring in the Kyogre, and saving my shield for this Kyogre, knowing that the Togekiss would farm down the Dialga, and 1 Waterfall should be enough to win this game. So very close game, GG's, and we do take that win. So next match against Jingles 21, another very talented trainer, and we're seeing Giratina altered into a Dialga. So not one of the more favorable leads, obviously. Dialga's going to win this. Giratina does make it close and, leaves an impression on the Dialga. However, Dialga's going to win this pretty much every time. In even shields, of course. So there are a couple ways to play this. You could switch out into Dialga, or you could stay with the Giratina. I've seen both ways work. Personally, I like to stay in with the Giratina just to sort of get the Dialga out of the way. And sometimes, they won't have a hard counter for your Dialga in the back. Very rare, but sometimes it happens. So I let the Giratina go down. This is a situation where you bring the Dialga and you should be able to farm down before they get to an Iron Head. But because of how laggy Dragon Breath is, it sometimes doesn't work out that way. Opponent brings in a Melmetal, so there's the hard counter. I'm going to throw the Draco Meteor here and then look to switch out. So I'm hoping this goes unshielded actually. It does, so that's pretty huge. Switch out into Kyogre here. We're going to get hit by a move, probably a superpower, and he's going to switch out. So I'm going to actually let this go through. Happens to be a Rock Slide, so that's even better. Going to bring in his own Kyogre, and This is 2 shields. We're down in health, so it's not optimal. And at this point, this seems like a Surf because I don't think he built up for a Thunder. So I'm gonna let this go through, and I'm gonna try and throw 2 Surfs here. My idea at this point was I have to save my shields for the Dialga in order to farm down that Melmetal, because I could easily beat this Kyogre with the Dialga, I think. All I have to do is worry about that Melmetal in the back. So I'm throwing the Surf here. Surf is going to go, and the Kyogre is going to farm me down actually. I'm going to bring in the Dialga here. Going to, at this point, this is going to be another Surf, so I'm not going to shield this. And the Surf's going to come through. I'm going to look to farm down here, and I'm saving my shields, and at this point I don't think I'm going to throw any energy. I'm just going to let the Melmetal throw its moves at me, and I'm going to look to farm down. So Melmetal here, going to throw. At this point I have to shield whatever it is, and you can see Dragon Breath's really adding up, so just conserve both shields, shield up this first Rock Slide, Superpower, whatever it is. Should be able to farm down here, and we actually end up winning that game with a shield in hand. So you could see Kyogre in the back definitely gave that team a bit of problems. Here in the next matchup, I didn't get the opponent's names, so sorry about that, but Giratina into Melmetal, we've seen it before. A pretty good matchup for Giratina, especially if the opponent decides to start using shields. I love that even more, but most of the cases it's going to go in the 0 shield situation. Rock Slide comes through. I'm trying to make sure I don't over farm again. Last time I literally was in that first matchup, I actually wasn't paying attention because I was doing something on the side as well, and just turned out that I over farmed a little bit over 100 energy, which cost me a lot of health on the Melmetal, probably an extra Shadow Sneak. So let's see how this matchup goes here instead. You can see the Melmetal is in the yellow here. Should start spamming some Rock Slides now, and we should get to another Shadow Sneak. This Rock Slide will not KO, and this Shadow Sneak is going to put it in the red, of course. So Rock Slide here gonna come through. I'm gonna throw this Shadow Sneak, and this is going to get, it's actually gonna get the shield from the Melmetal, which I found a little bit surprising. And I'm totally fine with this because I don't really want to shield here. I could win if I shield, but I didn't really want to. So I'm just gonna come in here with the Kyogre, look to farm up and get an energy lead. And I actually like this position a lot because now if he does bring in a dragon, for example, like he brings in Dragonite, right? So this looks like the 2-0 Butters team with Dialga and Dragonite in the back. And I could apply a lot of pressure here by throwing the Blizzard. Dragon Claw will not KO here, so I'm gonna let this go through. I'm gonna throw the Blizzard. If he lets this go through, he's done, and I'm gonna win with Dialga in the back with the shield advantage. If he shields this, I'm gonna have Dialga with 2 shields for his Dialga in the back. So if he does shield, I'm gonna switch out immediately into Dialga. He's going to bring in his own Dialga. This actually isn't too optimal because that Dialga could definitely hurt me. So I'm over farming here. I'm going to shield this up. And my thinking at this point was, if I'm going to go Draco, I'm probably going to need an energy advantage for the second Iron Head. So I decided to throw Draco here, which might have been the wrong idea. I think just going Iron Head for sure made a lot more sense. Because at this point I realized, I really have to get to this Iron Head or else I'm going to lose. And fortunately we do get to the Iron Head here. Gonna knock out the Dragonite. I think probably just going for the Iron Head there against the Dialga made more sense, and having energy ready for the second Iron Head on the Dragonite was probably the better play. But we made it a little risky, and we did still end up winning the match. So fortunate for us. Brink here in match number 4. Gonna lead Giratina to Togekiss. You could see Giratina does not win this at all. I actually did win this matchup one time because the opponent lagged, it seemed. So that's pretty much the only way you're gonna win with Giratina against Togekiss here. Unless you have Ancient Power and get the boost, then you can probably win that way for sure, but we don't have Ancient Power running Shadow Sneak. Gonna get off this Shadow Sneak here while facing a bit of lag, so it's a little bit scary whenever that happens. Gonna throw the Shadow Sneak. This Togekiss is going to look to farm us down. Almost got to Dragon Claw there actually, which would definitely have forced them to use a shield. Sometimes that happens and that's really good when it does, but here we're gonna get hit. I bring in Kyogre because no matter what this Togekiss throws at me, Kyogre is going to take it very well. I don't really want to waste the shield on a Dialga for the flamethrower, so I figured why not just bring in Kyogre here. I know I'm going to get hard counterfly by a Dialga here. I do. So I'm going to switch out into my own Dialga, and let's say the opponent's going to play this out. He gets the Iron Head. We both get the Iron Head, and he's going to throw here. I'm actually going to shield this up. This looks like it could be potentially a Draco. I mean, he had a bit of an energy lead there. I'm going to throw the Iron Head here. And this is going to get the shield as well. So now it becomes a farm down. Will he get to the second Iron Head? He did have an energy lead, So he does get there. It's a little bit unfortunate, obviously. I was a bit too late on the switch, I guess. Iron Head comes through. I'm going to farm down now. He actually brings in Kyogre. I'm going to throw the Iron Head here. This might get the shield. It has to get the shield for us to have any chance of winning. But even though it does get the shield, you actually see here what happens is I don't have Thunder on this Kyogre. And because of that, I'm pretty much guaranteed to lose this matchup here because we don't have shields. We're lower in health. And there's pretty much nothing my Kyogre could do to that Kyogre. Even if he's running Surf himself, it's pretty much a game over here. So I'm going to throw Surf again. I think my only play at this point might be to like sack the Dialga on their Surf if my switch timer comes up, but you can see my switch timer is nowhere near coming up. So Kyogre's going to come in. I'm going to bring back the Dialga and we're going to get hit by the Surf and lose that game. So at this point I started thinking to myself, maybe with this team in the back, Thunder kind of makes sense. It's a little bit tricky of a situation as we go against Daniel Aragoon here. I think with Blizzard in the back on Kyogre, you really need to be very efficient with your shield usage, and most of the time you're going to need a shield for the Kyogre in the back because the only way you're going to beat stuff like Giratina and Dragons in the back with Kyogre is if you have a shield advantage to land that Blizzard. Now, if you're running Thunder, having that shield advantage is kind of useless because even if you have one, you're not going to win against the Dragons with Thunder. So it goes both ways. You're going to see in this matchup, I kind of wished I had Thunder because I was starting to see a lot of people are running Kyogre in the back. So Dialga here ends up winning this matchup against Giratina. Makes sense. I bring in the Dialga. And you can see here, he gets the Iron Head. This should not be happening there. I'm definitely getting unfortunate there. And we get hit by the Iron Head, which is super unfortunate because now I'm forced to use a shield most likely on this Mewtwo. Whereas before I could have definitely taken at least one side strike. So not optimal. Mewtwo's over farming a lot of energy here. Am I going to choose to shield this? I'm going to let it go through. I'm just giving up on the Dialga at this point because you know what? Got hit by the Iron Head. Let's just hope Kyogre could clean up whatever is in the back. Side Strike's going to come through here. I'm going to look to farm down on the Mewtwo. And I have to use a shield here obviously for this Side Strike. And I'm just hoping I could farm down. I actually don't use this shield. Wow, okay. So I am banking on him having like a Groudon on the back. It's another Kyogre. So technically, I guess it makes more sense to have not shield that Side Strike given this team comp. So, you know, usually when I see Dialga and Mewtwo, a lot of times that team comp does have a Groudon in the back. So I figured maybe I could win if I just keep a shield for that. Because I could like potentially farm down with the Waterfalls by using a shield on like Fire Punch or something. But you can see we lose again. And another situation where I figure, you know what? I probably should test out Thunder on Kyogre. So for this last matchup here, I do switch the moveset from Blizzard to Thunder on my Kyogre. We see a Mewtwo in the lead. A very good matchup for Giratina, although Side Strike still does hurt, and a Shadow Ball will hurt as well. However, Shadow Ball will not KO this super thick Giratina. So I'm going to throw the Shadow Sneak here the first time that goes through, and that's huge because now at this point, Dragon Claw will be enough. So I don't have to build up as much energy anymore. Side Strike comes through. We could definitely take another Side Strike there. Definitely took a risk on that being Shadow Ball, but Shadow Ball wouldn't KO, so I was willing to take it. Another Side Strike comes through. I knew I would survive, and at this point, I know I'm either going to win switch or I'm going to take a shield advantage, and I'm okay with either one. I don't really mind if I lose because I know, so okay, this is perfect. The opponent actually took the shield and then switched out. So I still have switch advantage and shield advantage. So this is amazing for us. I'm going to throw the Iron Head here at this Dialga. And remember, it's important to note that Mewtwo exited with 0 energy. So keep that in mind. This Dialga is over farming a lot. This seems like a Draco Meteor. I don't want to take any chances here, especially knowing that that Mewtwo has no energy in the back. So I'm just going to shield this, farm down, and have a move ready to go whatever's in the back. Happens to be a Kyogre. One of the situations where you kind of wish you had Thunder on the Dialga instead of Draco Meteor. I'm going to go for the Draco anyways. It's probably going to get a shield for sure because Thunder would KO. So would Draco, and he does not want that. So I bring in Kyogre here, and you could see we have Thunder this time. Another Kyogre in the back. And at this point, this looks like it could be a Thunder. So I'm going to shield this up. He has a lot of energy. And I know he gets to Surf, but I have to be wary of the potential sack. He brings in Mewtwo. Because he has no energy, I knew I could farm down there without having to throw, which leaves me with energy left for this Thunder, which is going to land on the Mewtwo give me the win, and we were going to take that game with the Thunder variant of the Kyogre. So GG's there. So those were some battles featuring Giratina Altered Form in the lead. I definitely think it is one of the more underappreciated and underrated Pokemon in the Open Master League. I think part of the reason for that is because Giratina Altered Form is a pretty big investment and it isn't really used in raids too often. You know, a lot of people tend to use the Pokemon that they max out for raids in Open Master League. So Giratina Origin has a lot more play for that reason. But Giratina Altered, you know, you max it out, you don't really use it in raids, so it isn't kind of like dual usability. But with that said, I definitely think it is worth the investment because it works amazing as a safe switch, works amazing as a lead, and even as a closer, just has a lot of play overall in the Open Master League meta, and I definitely think it would be worth the investment and provide a nice ROI for you. If you guys enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like, commenting, subscribing to the channel. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.